Thanks. So we all know we're being recorded now, just to make it official. I do that as a courtesy each and every time I teach. So welcome to class. Before we let Ms. Walker get started on an awesome insight in how to use the library, which I think will be really helpful, and y'all get to do a scavenger hunt, which is going to be really fun. Tell me how things are going.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear that last thing you said.
Yeah, it's okay. I was asking our students how things were going.
Going good. It's just a lot of reading for all of my classes. Which is old after a little bit, but you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of reading in college. There is a lot of reading in college, and there's not, there are no real tips on how to handle that other than scheduling yourself time to read and not get behind. Because, dear Lord, once you get behind, it's really hard getting caught up. Anybody behind yet? Because that happens. It's midterm. You're going to get behind a little bit.
I'm doing pretty good in classes. My philosophy class, we play it in games, so we have like roles throughout the couple weeks. Right now we're doing French Revolution, and I'm getting to be Lafayette.
Oh, how fun! Wow.
Yeah, and we get to do debates, but we type a bunch of papers.
So, yes, philosophy is going to be a lot of writing. Debates are always great fun. Does anybody have to be Marie Antoinette?
No. We just have King Louis right now.
Okay. Is Thomas Paine anywhere in
there? Let me look. I don't think he is. We have me, Lafayette, King Louis, Bailey, but it's Bailly. I think that's how you pronounce it. We have, there's multiple other characters. We have a couple intermediates. We have the Jacobian faction. It's a bunch of people. There's like 15 of us with all different characters. It's very interactive though. Like we get to have a bunch of fun in the debates.
Oh, that is fun. Is it on Zoom?
We have faction meetings that are on Zoom, but it's in class, so we get to do debates like in front of people, and it gets very argumentative, but we enjoy it.
I love that. I know. I can't wait to watch the debate tonight. Doesn't matter what side I'm on. I love watching argumentation, use of rhetoric, language skills. All that's so cool in it.
It's really interesting and fun to watch, especially debates now are interesting.
So who's your professor in that class?
It's Professor Rainey.
Oh, this isn't a philosophy class. This is
political science and philosophy. Political and social philosophy is my class. I think that's what it's called.
Dr. Rainey's office is next to mine. She is the most wonderful person. I love her.
She has a lot of energy. I like it. She's fun.
She's very cool. Did you know she was from Monroeville?
I did not.
I know that that movie, Justice, what is that called? It came out last year. My daughter read the book. Have Mercy. Do you know that film, Have Mercy? About the
yes. Who does Michael B. Jordan play in it, or is that just?
I think it's Michael B. Jordan. It's oh goodness, what's his name? He dated Katie Holmes. That's random. He plays the main character.
I think Michael B. Jordan does play in it. I think I've seen it.
Okay.
I think I've seen that.
It's a really good book, and it's a really good film based on a true story set in Alabama. Anyway, ask Dr. Chanley about that because she grew up in Monroeville, and she knows some of the people who are real people who are portrayed in the film.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is. So is everybody else doing okay?
I'm doing pretty good. Most of my classes, I just take notes and a couple of them had to write a couple essays.
Your essays go okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not too hard. They're pretty easy.
Well, if you start to have difficulty,
Yeah. I'm about like Avery, except in art.
Yeah.
art is hard.
Yeah, me and Colin are in the same art class, or art history class.
Oh,
It is that hard. Just, I don't know, like, there's no explaining. It's just kind of like she just shows slides and then just like talks for like 2 seconds and then quizzes are like or have nothing to do with what we went over in class.
yeah. So that situation can sometimes happen in the sense that the professor's doing one thing and you're expecting something different and vice versa. So, so the best thing you can do is email or that professor has office hours or the easiest way you can access your faculty member. Talk to them. Just say, hey, I really want to learn in this class. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Can you help me? And they're going to be like, oh, heck yeah. And then, as you're talking, you can say, you go through the slides really fast and I'm trying to pay attention and understand. Can we slow down a little bit? And chances are they're going to be like, sure, yeah. I thought I was just talking to myself. I didn't know anybody was even paying attention. This morning when I was lecturing on Zoom, I was sharing my screen and reading from the text. I was actually reading Pain and Age of Reason. And I was about halfway through a paragraph and one of my students interrupted and she's like, we can't see it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't y'all tell me? This is like the third text that. And they're like, well, we didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, it's not a bother. And then they helped me figure out how to make the text bigger. And I'm like, y'all are awesome. Just, yeah, jump in, let me know. So most of us, really want to know how we can do things better. And it can be heartbreaking to wait till the end of the semester when we're reading our teaching evals, and then we see that something that was so easy to fix if we'd known it was going wrong didn't get fixed because we just didn't know it was going wrong. And that's very true for some of the younger faculty who haven't been teaching for decades. They just need a little hand. And again, y'all are the experts in that classroom. Reach out and just say, hey, this is going to work better if you do this, this, and this, or can you stop doing that? And you can do it in a nice way, but let them know. Because they're here at the W, they care about y'all. That's why we're teaching.
Okay.
So if anything does come up, if you get concerned, scared, a problem, a situation, anything at all, shoot me an email, come during my office hours, call me during those office hours, and I will be here to help, okay? Okay. So I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Walker. She's over on this side of my screen. I don't know where she's on. And we're going to learn about the library.
All right. Hello, everyone. It's good to see your faces, some of you. So just to get started, I'll give a little intro about myself. I'm a fairly new faculty member here at the W. I started at the beginning, about this time last year, the beginning of the fall semester. I was living in Chicago for a few years, working in several different libraries up there. I was teaching kind of like what I'm doing now at the Art Institute of Chicago. I also worked in the public library and I worked at the archives at the Newberry. So I've kind of been all over the place until I landed this full-time job here, which brought me back down to the subtropical weather of the South. I am not built for those winters we have up there in Chicago, so I'm happy to be here. I got my master's in library science from the University of Southern Mississippi. So they had an online program, so I did that online while I was living in Chicago. And then it's kind of funny that I actually ended up coming to Mississippi to work, even though I went to grad school in Mississippi. So that turned out well. Today we're just going to go over kind of what the library has to offer you guys. So I'm going to start with kind of like the top 5 things, you know, the BuzzFeed headline, top 5 things you need to know about your library. We're going to kind of just navigate the library's website together so you guys are familiar with it and you know where to go depending on what you need. And then we're also going to kind of dive into the databases, just doing a little intro so you guys are familiar with how that works. So I know that fun isn't the first word that comes to mind when you're thinking of the library, so I'll try to make this as painless as possible. So I am going to share my screen. And can you guys all see my screen okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so first thing, first and foremost, one of the biggest changes we've had this semester with COVID is that you guys need to have a swipe access to the library. So whereas before you could just walk into the library whenever you wanted to, but now you need to register your Galaxy ID. And so to do that, you hit this Get Library Access button here that's at the top. And you'll just enter in the information that is on your Galaxy ID. I believe since you guys are a UN 101 class, I don't think you'll have the older IDs that aren't Galaxy, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But if you do not have a Galaxy ID, you'll have to go and have a new one made, but I don't think you guys will have to worry about that. Okay, so the Get Library Access button is right here at the top. So if you guys haven't already, please go and fill this out so that you guys can have access to the library whenever you need it. It's not an immediate turnaround, so it kind of takes up to 24 hours for us to process your request and grant you that access. This also gives you access to the library's 24/7 digital classroom. The entrance to that is over by the coffee shop doors on the north side of the building. So registering for library access gets you access to the main library and to the 24/7 classroom. And then over here under the COVID Library Info tab, this just kind of covers all of the major changes that we have going on this semester. So like the swipe card access that I just went over, the book pickup, making appointments in the archives and special collections department if you guys are wanting to do any research there. So here's all of the information for that. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into those top 5 things you need to know about your library. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to interrupt me or drop something down in the chat. I will try to check that periodically so I don't miss your questions. So the first thing, first and foremost, is the Ask Athena chat service that we have. So usually pretty much on any web page within this site, you're going to see this chat box over here, either on the left or the right margin of your web page. You can remain anonymous if you'd like, so you can put a random name there, but we do ask that you put a real email address so that if we are disconnected or if our conversation ends up lasting longer than just a few minutes, we can keep corresponding through email. So if you guys have any simple questions from, hey, where's the bathroom if you're in the library, or if you need research help, feel free to hit us up on chat. Pretty much as long as the library is open, so these hours that you see posted at the top, during this time, there will be a live person on the other end. So either it's myself or another librarian that's here to answer your questions in real time. If it's 11:30 at night and you sent us a chat, most likely we won't see it until first thing the next morning. So we'll get back to you as soon as we can when the next day begins. Then number 2 on the top 5 things you should know about your library is the EBSCO Discovery search bar right here. So this works similarly to the Google search bar if you're just starting off a search in Google, but this is different because it only searches the databases that we subscribe to. And so just to give you guys an idea, we have 108 databases that we have paid subscriptions to right now. So whenever you just do a general search here, it will search all 108 of those databases at once, which can be overwhelming, but sometimes that's kind of the best place to start when you're just getting going on a research topic. Oops, excuse me. let's see, the third thing you guys need to know about your library are the online research consultations. So if you guys are just really hitting a wall and the Ask Athena chat isn't doing it for you, you guys can go here to book an online appointment with either myself or another librarian. You'll click on this, have to click one more time on this schedule appointment button here, and then select a librarian. So I'm just going to choose my name so you guys can see. I have my Outlook calendar availability linked up to the website, so you guys can pick a time, pick a day and a time that works for you. If none of these times work, you guys can just shoot me an email. And my time is pretty flexible. I'm pregnant with twins, so I have been approved to work from home until I am come off of maternity leave next year. But I do like to come into work and teach from my office, so I am in my office today. But for the most part, I'm working from home until March of next year, so I am available outside of the typical 8 to 5 if you guys need help outside of those hours. In addition to making a research appointment with a librarian, you can also make an appointment or make a reservation to use a study room here in the library. And if I'm not mistaken, Sam, it looks like you're in the library, is that right? Okay, cool, that's what I thought. So that's excellent that you are already using those resources. So here is what this page looks like. Something that's different this semester is that we are reserving library pods as well. But before I get into that, I just wanted to point out that the study rooms are limited to one person occupancy this semester. We were allowing 2 in our bigger study rooms, but we were having issues with mask wearing compliance. So we had to bump that back down to 1. And if you're not sure which study room you want, because they're all a little different and some of them have different things in them, like one might have a whiteboard, one might actually have a computer monitor and screen in there. So just depending on what you need, kind of might influence which study room that you want to book. And so if you hit this info button, it will pop up with a picture. So for example, study room A, which is downstairs, this one has the computer screen in it. So if you're trying to get a presentation together, if you want to practice a presentation, this is probably like the best study room for you. We've got study rooms upstairs as well that just have the tables and chairs, but you'll have it all to yourself. So I know it says seating for 6, but it's really only 1. And then over here is the schedule. So, you know, if it's green, it's available, and you can check these out for 2 hours at a time. And we're pretty flexible. So if no one has a reservation for your study room after your 2 hours is up, you guys can go in and renew that reservation for another 2 hours. The study pod or the library pods, they used to just be comfy little chairs that we had scattered around the library, but due to social distancing, we decided to add these here to the appointment site. And so that's what these look like. They're just a little chair with a desk, and you have a little kind of plastic partition right here to give you a little bit of privacy. And these are usually located pretty close to an outlet, so you guys can keep your devices charged while you're hanging out in these pretty cozy chairs. So do you guys have any questions so far? No, we're good? Okay, I'll keep going. Okay, the fourth thing you need to know about your library is our interlibrary loan service. And I'll dive into this a little bit more when we jump into searching through the databases, but this is basically a partnership that we have with about 74 other libraries in the United States that we share materials with. So if you are looking for a book in our catalog and we don't have it, you can fill out this form right here, and we can, you know, request it from another library. And this goes for you know, maybe if you just want one chapter out of a book, we can get that from another library, or if you're looking for an article that you can't find full text access to, we can request it from another library. And usually how that works is that if they have it, they'll scan it or send it to us, and then that's delivered to your email you'll get like a password to a link to download the article. And then once you have it downloaded, it doesn't like expire or go away or anything. So from then you can, you know, save it, print it, or do whatever you need to do with it. Okay, and then the last thing on our list for the top 5 things you need to know about your library are the LibGuides. And I think we're going to try to figure out a better way to get to them. They're also called research guides. So if you go to this research tab right here and go to research guides, these basically just kind of consolidate the library's resources by subject. So for example, if you guys are in education, let's see, where did that go? We have the education research guide. So this just, like we have the ebooks search bar right here, so you can search for ebooks in here. We've linked the databases that are most relevant to the education major in here as well. So if you just want to jump straight to the LibGuide so that you're only looking at library resources pertaining to your major, then this is kind of the way to go, is to use the LibGuides or research guides. We also link outside resources, you know, like websites and organizations or just anything, excuse me, anything out on the internet that we think is relevant. We'll try to drop those things in here to help you guys out. And then we've got our Ask Athena chat here. We've got some videos and online help with citation, but we also have a citation guide, which I'll show you guys in just a minute, which we have up here. I'll just go ahead and jump into this guy. So there is a new citation guide, the 7th edition, which came out in October of 2019. So wow, that's been almost a year already. So here I've gone in and tried to put in all the guidelines about paper formatting. There's also one for MLA format. So if you guys don't use APA, don't freak out. We have one for MLA and for Chicago as well. I've also put in like different examples of all the different kinds of citations that you might come across, like for books and articles and databases. So those are in here as well for you guys to reference. And then my favorite page is the reference list page over on this citation LibGuide. I love looking at this graphic right here. This kind of saves you a lot of time from flipping through the manual if you don't have it, or if you don't want to come to the library to look at it. I think this is a great reference. I have this printed out and it's over here on my corkboard, and I look at it all the time to make sure my formatting is correct. And if you guys don't have the latest manual or in your possession, or if you have no way to get to the library, you can just reach out to us and let us know, and we can scan whatever pages you need and email them to you. So you guys aren't limited if you can't get into the library. Okay, so that kind of wraps up the top 5 things you guys need to know about your library. The next thing I'm going to go over are some of these tabs that are here underneath the EBSCO Discovery search bar. The first thing I'm going to do is go into Advanced Search. So this is, it basically works the same as the Discovery search bar here, except it allows you to kind of break up your search terms or your keywords. So, so this is what the advanced search looks like. And before I jump into doing like a sample search here, I want to point out this publications tab right here. This publications is where you will find all of our online journal subscriptions. So depending on your major, let's see, I think I'm just going with education today. So if you guys want to click on education, this will take you to all of the print journals or all of the online journals that we have access to. And you can just browse through these guys and see what's available. So you might have to do a little clicking around. Sometimes the link up here, it won't directly take you to the source. And so you can always double check this URL down here as well if you have trouble with that first link. So usually it'll just take you to the website, and you can select the latest publication here, and there it is in its full text entirety. So sometimes, oops, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sometimes the full text access is not available through going into the journals this way. So if you guys ever run into any issues like that, just reach out and let us know, and we will try to get to the bottom of it, or maybe get it from another library. So I'm going to go back, whoops, to the advanced search here. And let's see, sample searches. There's one that I've done recently for a nursing student. She had a big paper that she did on elderly abuse in long-term care. And so if you'll notice while I'm typing, it will pop up with other similar keywords to help you with your search. So a lot of times I will just go with what they suggest, because they're usually right. And so what this does is that it will pull up articles that contain the words nursing home and long-term care. So if I had only included long-term care in the second search bar right here, it would only pull up articles that mention long-term care. So I like to include these other keywords in here so that I have more results, especially when you're just starting out. You want to make sure you're covering all of your ground to see what's out there. So before I actually hit the search button, I wanted to point out these little connecting words right here. They're called Boolean operators. So what this does is that the and will combine these terms. So when I hit search, as of right now, elderly abuse, it will search for articles that contain the topics elderly abuse and long-term care, or nursing homes, or residential care. So this will increase the number of results that you get. If you want to go down here and select or, sorry, actually using the and will actually narrow your search a little bit. So if you use the or, it will only pull up articles that contain either or. So it might contain some of these terms, it might contain all of them. So the or will actually increase the number of results that you get. So if you're looking for something very specific, you can go down here and select not. So if you're looking for articles that talk about elderly abuse, but not in long-term care or nursing homes, that's kind of the best way to filter out those results here. Another tip I wanted to point out, and this works in Google as well. So if you are want to look for something like very specific or search a phrase, you can put quotation marks around elderly abuse, and it will search those two terms together as they appear in a sentence. So before I had these, it's only going to pull up articles that have the word elderly and abuse in it. But if I put the quotation marks around it, it will search the phrase together. So that's a fun tip that I didn't know about until I was almost done with grad school, and I think that would have saved me a lot of time in some of my research projects that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and hit search right here. Okay, so we've got a pretty good pile of results right here. We've got about 208,000 articles. Well, actually, since we did the discovery search, it's searching everything. So we've got legal cases or reports, ebooks, and academic journals. So the best way to filter through this large pile of results is to make the most of these limiters that are over here on the left. So the first thing I want to do is let's just narrow this down to scholarly peer-reviewed articles. And the next thing I want to point out, sometimes if you're starting from the discovery search bar, it will automatically select the available in library collection. And I don't really like that it does that because you guys are not limited to just what is in our collection. So I tend to go and uncheck this box so that I can place interlibrary loan request if I need to, and usually that will pop up right here. So if you have selected the available in library collection, you won't see this request button right here. So I don't want you guys to be limited or feel like you're limited. So I always make sure to uncheck that box. Most research that's done here at the W, your professors will require you to search within the last 5 years. So I'm just gonna, you can either use the little bar right here, or you can just go in and type. I'm just gonna go in and type 2015 to further narrow down these results. And then you guys can further limit your results based on the subject or the publisher. I get a lot of questions about how to limit the articles to just what's published in the United States. So under geography, you can go in and select the United States. So this one is kind of, since it's kind of at the bottom, some of the students miss it and don't realize that it's there. So it looks like these are all would need to be requested through interlibrary loan. I prefer to do it this way through the database, because clicking on it this way, it fills out all of the information for you, and then all you have to do is just put in your contact information and hit submit here at the bottom. The thing I didn't mention earlier that I forgot about when I was talking about interlibrary loan is that this semester we've rolled out rapid interlibrary loan. So before it would take up to 48 hours or maybe even 3 days to get an article to you guys, but now that turnaround time is a lot faster. So usually if you request an article, it's delivered to your inbox within 24 hours or less now. So that's a pretty exciting development that we've had take place here. And let's see, I'm going to deselect United States here. Okay, so if you guys see this first record up here, you will notice that you do have full text access to it, which is great. So you guys can go in here and click on the full text right here. The other thing I want to point out is that if you're having trouble with your search terms up here, so if you're doing these searches and you're not quite finding what you're looking for, you can click on the title, and this will take you to what is called a bibliographic record. And you can go in and look at these other subjects, keywords that are related to your topic. And these are all hyperlinked. So if you see something that's related to your topic, you can just click on that. So just for example, I'm going to click on this guy. And then it will give you a new list of results based on that keyword. So that's another helpful tool for you guys to look at if you guys are getting stuck in your search. The other tool is this find similar results right here. This can be a little overwhelming. What it does is that it scans every single word in your article and then generates a new list of results based on every single word that was scanned in your article. So sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not so helpful, but it is worth giving that a try if you guys are just, aren't finding what you're looking for. While I'm in this record, I want to point out some of the tools over here on the right. You'll see this add to folder button right here. I highly recommend that you guys go into the My EBSCOhost and create an account. It's free. But the reason I suggest that you guys make an account is so that you guys can save articles to your folder. So for example, if you guys are looking over here and you don't have time to jump into these and read them, you can go, well, you have to sign in first, but then you can go in and just add these articles to your folder and then go back and look at them later. If you don't want to do that, you can just print straight from here or email it to yourself, or if it's a full text a document like this, you should be able to just save it directly to your computer. I do want to point out the citation tool here. I think it's great, but it's not always accurate. So, I don't mind at all that you guys go in and use, these kind of prefabbed citations that are in here, but I do highly recommend that you guys make sure that the formatting is correct. So just to get started, just to keep track of your resources, you can go in and copy and paste into your reference list, but then you always need to go back and double check. So for example, like this title right here, this is not in correct format. In APA style, you only capitalize the first letter of the first word, and then the first letter after, this second part of the title. So that's just something you'd have to pay attention to make sure it is correct. And you guys can reference the citation LibGuides to do that. So I just want to caution you guys that the citation tool within EBSCO is great, but it's not always accurate. So it may or may not actually save you any time. So you just have to make sure you go in and correct those so that you guys don't lose points on that. Okay, I'm going to actually jump back to the home page again. We're going to jump into the databases right here. So you can search all of the databases here with this bar, search bar here, or you can go in and search based on subject. So for example, if I were to select nursing, it's going to bring up all of the databases that are most relevant to the nursing subjects. And then we also have, this is kind of a new feature that we've added, but based on the subject, we'll have the LibGuides that are related to it linked over here. So you can just jump over here and look at these if you guys need to. Okay, so you can narrow those down by subject. And then one more database tip that I want to point out to you guys. If you go into advanced search here, you can actually, oops, sorry, I'm going to go back to databases. I guess the best way to do this is if you start in one database. So forgive me for jumping around for a minute. So right now I just clicked on academic search complete. And then if I go to this choose databases button right here, I can go in and handpick all of the databases that I want to search. So let's just, we can go in and click APA Psych Info, ERIC, the encyclopedia. And then in doing that, you've kind of customized your search to just the databases that you want to use. So I wanted to point that out. These are your limiters here. So you can select your limiters before you hit search, but I like to kind of see what results I have before I start filtering out those articles. So you can use the limiters before or after you begin your search. And I'm going to jump back to the home page again. The books tab here under the discovery search bar, this is our traditional catalog. You guys might be familiar with this kind of layout if you've ever used a catalog like at a public library. So this will just search our print catalog books. And I think you guys were talking about Have Mercy, I believe was the book you mentioned earlier. Okay, that might not have been the right title, but this is how that works. So if you're looking for a book, you can check our catalog, and then if we don't have it at our library, you'll see it listed at another library within our partnership. So this is kind of where that interlibrary loan comes in. So we might have a copy of a book, but it might be checked out. So in that case, you can just go in and request it from the Olive Branch Library if you wanted to. Right now, we are not sharing print books. So if you want, you can, like right now, you wouldn't be able to borrow this print book from another library, but you can request a digital copy. And for the most part, we are purchasing all digital copy requests. So if this is something you really want to read, just hit this button right here, and it will send in a form for us to look at, and then we'll let you know when the book has been purchased and available to access. So that's how the traditional catalog works. And then, so the ebooks tab, this is kind of new. We didn't always have this up here, but this ebooks tab will only search the ebooks that we have access to. So there's fun books to read. There's a lot of textbooks in here. We have children's books, even graphic novels on here. I read a graphic novel through our ebooks here, which was pretty interesting. So you can narrow it down by subject, or you can just go in and search. So this looks similar to the EBSCO Discover Advanced Search that we were going through just a minute ago. So this is all of the ebooks that we have. And I'm just going to click on this title just to show you guys what it looks like. So you can either download it or read it on the web, which isn't very friendly for your eyeballs. So it's probably better to just download it and read it on your device than on a computer screen. I'm gonna jump back to the home page. Okay, Google Scholar. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Google Scholar or if you've ever used it. I never really used Google Scholar until I got into grad school. I didn't really appreciate it or realize how helpful it could be. So sometimes if you guys can't find something in our databases, you guys can double check Google Scholar before placing an interlibrary loan, because that's what we do. Whenever we get a request for an interlibrary loan, we always go and check Google Scholar first. So for example, this article right here, I had a nursing student looking for this one. And I'm gonna go uncheck this box right here. Okay, so this is the article that she was looking for, and you see that we don't have access to it. So what I would do then is go into Google Scholar and look for the same article, and boom, there it is. But then there's one more trick that I want to point out. Sometimes if you just click on the title, you'll run into something that's called a paywall, and that's where it will ask you to purchase this article for $35, which is ridiculous. I hope you guys don't ever feel like you have to pay for an article. So if you come across this, just reach out to us and let us know, and we will try to find the article for free for you guys by placing an interlibrary loan. But for this one's unique because when you're in Google Scholar, if you see the URL listed here in the right margin, that usually means the full text is available. So by clicking here, it took me straight to the article. Which you weren't able to do just by clicking on the title. So that's kind of a trick that I like to point out to students. It took me a while to figure this out, and so I just wanted to make sure you guys knew to double check those links posted to the side. Okay, and then let's see. I think that's pretty much all I have to cover in a nutshell. If you guys want me to do another practice search in the database, we can do that so that you guys feel a little more comfortable. What do you guys think? What do you want to do? Or if you have any questions, I know we're kind of within the last 10 minutes here, so I can just hang around for a few minutes if you guys have any questions.
I hope that they appreciate all the details that you went through, but I'm so glad you've recorded this so they can use this as reference, because it's a ton of material. And unless you're actually working on like a research paper or a project, it can be hard to apply everything she just showed us, because it's in the abstract for y'all. Have any of you done any scholarship yet? Anybody in freshman comp?
I think I am.
Okay. So usually at the end of freshman comp, you'll do a little bit of scholarship, but mostly a research paper in comp too.
Okay.
But you're going to need all of this. I mean, every single detail you're going to need.
So
And I'm thrilled. I didn't know we had that MLA guide because I have been creating one like for my students, but I'm just going to link to yours now. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we've got one for APA, MLA, and Chicago. I think we might have a Turabian one, but I don't know if anyone at the W uses Turabian unless you're a graduate history major.
That would be Dr. Velick, and I don't know if anybody has Dr. Velick, but he does use Turabian. There you go, Emma. Is he using Turabian this semester?
No, ma'am, he's not.
Oh, okay, he usually does. So I guess maybe he's taking a semester off.
Yeah.
His office is on the other side.
Okay, so I'm just gonna drop my email address here in the chat. If you guys have any questions or if you get an assignment and you're kind of not sure where to start, or if you don't remember anything we talked about today, I'm here for reference. You can just hit me up through email, or if you want to arrange like an online appointment with me, we can do that as well. I'm also here to proofread papers and citations. So if you want like an extra set of eyes to double check your citations, you can feel free to send your paper to me or send it over to the Writing Center. We're kind of working together to help you guys out there. So yeah, just let me know if you guys need anything.
So y'all need anything? Are we good?
Good.
We're good.
I'm good.
Good.
All right,
So
excellent.
thank you so much, Ms. Walker. That was awesome and amazing and wonderful. Y'all will have no idea how much until about 1.5 years from now when you're panicked over research. But let's hope that you remember Ms. Walker and she will help you then as much as she needs to help you now, because you will have little assignments, especially if you're in a history class, come up. So I guess I'll see y'all next week, but if you need me before that, you'll let me know. Are we doing a scavenger hunt for them?
Yes. Let's see. I can put the link here in chat, or I think I sent it to you in email if you'd like to just forward it.
Okay. I'll make that available to y'all and some instructions about what to do, okay?
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thanks. Y'all have a great week.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.